I can see you now.
Cool.
Perfect.
Well, welcome to the Justin Cost podcast.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, how you been today?
Pretty good. It's been a busy day, but happy to be winding it down for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Sundays are always good for that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about mental and physical health today. I'm excited about it. I'm sure that other people are excited about that too. That's one of the most important things. So this jumps right into my first question. Why is it so important to take care of yourself, and why is your health important?
Ooh. Well, it's definitely, I think, now more than ever, important for us to take care of ourselves because our community depends on it. We can only show up and be effective as a collaborative if we're showing up and taking care of ourselves first. And that's something that I didn't always do the best at. And especially since quarantine, it's been a forced time out in a lot of ways. But during this time, it's really made me realize like the importance of spending time with me and doing radical self-care, which for me looks like spending time alone, meditating, connecting intentionally with my friends, eating well, doing good physical exercise, and working in activities that are meaningful to me in my daily life.
And probably getting better at cooking, I'd imagine.
Heck yeah!
Right.
I can MacGyver anything.
Yeah. Oh, it's always fun to try new things. Also. So, you are a yoga instructor, correct?
I am.
Where do you teach around the Dayton area?
Right now, I'm currently teaching at Day Yoga, but I also have a couple different partnerships with some wellness collaboratives in our area. But right now, I don't have anything firmly scheduled. But I was just talking with some friends last night, actually, who own a co-op, and we're talking about doing some pop-up yoga there. So
Cool. And you always improve on your skills. What else have you been working on?
oh my goodness, I am constantly doing things. Actually, today I was taking aerial yoga training classes. That's
Awesome.
Something new that I'm challenging myself with. I'm terrible at it, but I love it. Who doesn't want to pretend like they're in the circus?
Sure.
But moreover, like it's just another way for me to deepen my connection with my physical body and my yoga practice, learn some different techniques. And the nice thing with the aerial too is you really don't have to be a trapeze artist. You can use the hammock to help support you,
Okay.
especially if you have areas of deficit in your body or need additional support. So the hammock can help if you have areas of weakness as well. So I'm working on that certification right now. So I've got another weekend left to go with that. And then I'm a Reiki master. So I'm constantly reading up on things that have to do with, all of those different spiritual wellness aspects of ourselves. And then I'm an aromatherapist as well. So anything that is in that holistic vein, I'm interested in and typically reading up on or taking classes about.
So let's talk about some of those. What is Reiki?
Reiki is the use of the life force energy. Basically, it's channeling that life force energy into healing. And you can either do it through hands-on approach, or even distance. But basically, it's the intentional sending of that life force energy to someone or something for the highest and best good or an outcome. So,
That's great. I think everybody could use that. What is aromatherapy then?
Aromatherapy is the use of herbs, flowers, and breaking it down into the different components to use them in a medicinal way to help heal the body. Primarily, I work with essential oils and create blends that you can use topically or through inhalation to help better your health.
That's great. And why would one start maybe choosing to do Reiki or aromatherapy in general? Why has it interested people?
Well, I think a lot of, if we just like take it for the most basic reason, I think everybody wants to feel grounded in their own self, to de-stress, to feel joyful, to feel grounded.
Sure.
And for me, I found that aromatherapy really helped to do that. Obviously, smell has such a potent impact on us. I mean, you can walk into a kitchen and be transported through the smell that occurs, or smell something and be taken back to a memory of something that occurred in your life, either traumatic or good. Right. But the intentional use of the essential oils can be blended together to help you to create just feelings of elation or de-stress or
clarity.
Help, reduce anxiety, grief support. There's just an array of things that it can be used with. And then the Reiki, I first started my journey with Reiki because I was looking to really reunify my mental, physical, and spiritual bodies. And Reiki was a tool that allowed me to do that.
So people with anxiety, depression, PTSD would probably be geared more or drawn more to those two for sure. But there's also another one we haven't talked about, which is yoga. What is yoga and the differences between yoga and the other two?
Well, yoga is the physical embodiment through both breath work and physical practice of coming into self and unifying your mental, emotional, physical beings. And there are so many different types of yoga out there. What speaks to me may not speak to you, but for me, just like unifying and coming back to the breath, and then using the physical postures to really start to deal with some of those traumas that I've been holding in my body for my whole life, has been an amazing journey for me.
Yeah. We had done some stretching in the backyard, and you had mentioned to me that some of those memories would come back to you, and I had told you later on that did happen. So it's very fascinating to me. I'm sure it should be to everybody else. Don't you find that all three of these practices are more important than ever for people today?
I think that right now, in the times that we're living in, now more than ever, it's really important to be really clear in what your truth is and honest in what that truth is, and physically embodying it. And a simple way to do that is through the use of these different modalities, so that we can be better humans in our daily lives and then go out into our communities and love each other well.
Yeah. Like I said, I call them practices because it's important to continue to do them. We could have a really good day, the next day it's a bad day. Same for, you could be a really good person today and then turn into a really bad person the next day. Depending on your life circumstances and mental health and physical health. So I think that it was valuable, and just as valuable as it has been in the past and important, but maybe this is a time to start remembering some things to do as human beings to gain that back. Like balance, just for example, was one thing I wanted to talk to you about. So is yoga a part of that? Is balance important with yoga?
As in like the physical practice of balance or the emotional practice of balance, or both?
I guess both. I guess, yeah. We're talking about both, yeah.
Okay. Well, kind of to swing back to what you were just saying about having good days and bad days, my goodness, like sometimes during the course of a day, like we can be 6 different versions of ourselves,
yeah.
And I think that the important thing right now is just to be really mindful about what our energy looks like, what we're bringing to the party, even when we're showing up for ourselves, but when we're showing up for our others, our families, our friends, our communities, our workplaces, So just, having that mindfulness as we go through our day and using, our energy as a checkpoint, because we have the power to impact, even a small space in our homes, by the energy we're bringing forth. So, having that check throughout the day is really important. As far as the balance piece, yes. Physical balance is really, really important to wellness. Actually, it's a really good indicator of longevity. The more agile you are, the more supple you are, and there are scientific studies on this, although I'm ill prepared in that respect. But the more physically able you are to navigate through this world and have that balance, like you're able to better recover when you're put in to physically demanding situations and are protecting your physical body. So it's really important to incorporate balance practice in your daily life, even if you're just standing at the kitchen sink, standing on one leg and then coming up and down on one toe, challenging that your core and challenging your muscle groups, your vestibular system, so that you're in alignment is really important from a physical wellness standpoint.
It makes me think of... Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. The strength to pick people up and loved ones, family members when you need to, as opposed to not being able to when you aren't mentally and physically fit.
Right. So that emotional balance and that spiritual balance is really important. And I think now more than ever, again, to know when our gas tank, our emotional gas tank is full, half full, empty is really important. And for us to be honest in that, because we can't continue to pour out if we are not replenishing our own tanks. And having that balance too of knowing when to say no and to have a boundary and to protect our own energy, so that we can replenish, so that when we say yes, we can really mean our yes, and to show up well. I believe in the intentionality of that. So having that balance too, and knowing, even too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. So having that truthfulness with self and knowing how to balance that is important as well.
I'm glad you mentioned intention. That was one of the questions I was going to ask you. Speak to me about how crucial your intentions are when walking through life, because you've talked to me about that before.
Oh, I know. When we have our soul chats, intentionality is probably one of our biggest themes. The energy that we're sending out into the world is the echo we're receiving back. So, of course, I want good things in my life. I want love and joy and happiness and abundance and all of those amazing things. But I also know that if I'm to receive that back, I need to intentionally plant those seeds and take care of them and weed my garden every day. Yeah. So that when those things start coming back to me, I know it's because I planted and I took care of this. And that does not to mean that there aren't going to be frustrating things or challenging things or crappy things that happen to us. But again, we can set an intention on how we choose to respond to a situation and then move through it mindfully.
Yeah, no, that's great. You have to have good intentions if you want to get good intentions. So, what are some of the... Yeah, go ahead.
To be clear in that. Be clear in your intention,
Yeah. People are motivated in the worst ways sometimes without even knowing it.
Yeah.